Hello, hello, good evening. How is everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me, okay? Because oh man, okay, there we go. I don't have my microphone with me, so if you can't hear me, I'm not sure what else I can do about it, but I'd like to know if you're having trouble. Dude, what is going on here? Hold on. My light doesn't want to cooperate. Hold on. Where's the thing for the light? There it is. So how's y'all's day going? As you can see, we having some problems over here. Okay, there. Okay. So hopefully that charges it up before the laptop needs the charger back. I had to sit over here in this really awkward corner because this room only has like two or three plugs and none of them are on that side of the room. So, as you can tell, this conversation tonight is going to be a bit random. Uh because I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about. I thought y'all might be interested in my adventures in Salvador de Bahia. But also there were other things on my mind. I know this week is a holiday, although I keep forgetting until somebody says something, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there is a holiday on Thursday. Um, and so we can talk about that. Or if there's something else y'all want to talk about and you want to drop that in the chat, feel free. Feel free. Okay, glad to hear that y'all can hear me. Um, oh, I should introduce myself. In case you're new here and you're wondering what the hell is going on, my name is Adelia Aborshade. This is my channel. Uh, I am a financial educator and coach who likes to talk on the internet about money, about travel, which I'm doing at this moment, and also about living abroad. I left the United States 9.5 years ago. Those are all things that we talk about on this channel. So if that sounds interesting to you, you are in the right place. Welcome. We are glad you are here. All right. So I guess I can catch all up since the time we spoke last Tuesday, uh, where I was in this exact hotel, different room, back in Sao Paulo, got back here yesterday. So I talked to y'all on Tuesday. So did I fly to Salvador on Wednesday? I don't know. What is time? But sometime after I talked to y'all last, flew to Salvador. Um, and the weather was not great. It pretty much rained all the whole time I was there. Yesterday morning, when it was time to leave, the sun was out. Uh, the sun is shining. It looked great. And then I got back here where it was cloudy and drizzly and like 60 degrees. As you can see, I did not pack clothes for 60-degree weather. So it's been an adventure. But how was Black Consciousness Day in Salvador? Um, it was pretty cool. Part of our group went and participated in a march, nah, maybe not a march. Kind of like carnival, but not carnival. So it sort of like a second line, lots of people, drums, musicians, banners, all that kind of stuff, marching through the street. I went to the Afro Brazil Museum in Salvador, and then there were lots of people in the like Centro Histórico. doing capoeira and other stuff like that. There were performances and all kind of stuff. So it was very cool. And then it started to rain. And if you follow me on Instagram, maybe you saw the picture I posted. Luckily for me, I got back to the hotel as the rain was starting. I still got kind of wet. I just didn't know how wet things were going to get. Um, my room flooded. A big chunk of the hotel flooded. The elevators had to be taken out of commission because there was so much water in the building. It was a, how did they describe it? Because I got like a weather alert on my phone about the storm. It was like an orange level alert. I don't know what that means, but very heavy rains, heavy winds, strong winds. I think the maybe a day or two after that, the hotel put a letter in everybody's room. And when I translated it, it said something like they got 75% of the rain they get all year in that one day. Or maybe it was 75% of what they were supposed to get for the month in that one day. It was something like 80 millimeters of rain. I forget how hard the wind was blowing. But I was literally sitting in my hotel room. There was a small balcony, had a sliding door. And when I got back to the room, I saw the water collecting on the balcony. And there was a really small hole that I guess was drainage. And I was like, luckily, it seems to be keeping up with the amount of rain. And then the rain was like, hold my beer. And it picked up every time the wind blew. I could feel the wind in my room. Um, so yeah, I thought, oh, okay, my room has flooded. And I make it to the door and I go out into the hallway and the hallway is flooded. And I was like, oh, so there was that adventure. The folks who had gone to the walk were outside in all of that. So by the time we left, they still had clothing and shoes that had yet to dry out from that day. Um, we ate, y'all know, me trying to feed myself as a picky eater, um, is difficult on a good day, let alone in another country. I had, uh, now I can't remember how to pronounce it. Was it moqueca? A very traditional Brazilian dish. If you've ever seen Netflix's Street Food Latin America, when they talk about Brazil in Salvador, Dona Susana, I think is her name, we went there and ate. Um, we did walking tour. Um, I don't think I realized that Michael Jackson video, maybe is it They Don't Care About Us, that was in Brazil. So we went to the place. That wasn't the whole point of the tour, but while we were on the tour, I guess that counts as like a Black history location. They were like, look, this is where Michael Jackson filmed that. Um, we got to go out to and now I'm gonna mispronounce the word. It starts with a Q. Quilimbo. If you've ever been to Cartagena and you go to the Palenque, or you're familiar with like maroon settlements, it's a similar kind of thing, but that's what they call them here. And I learned how to make palm oil. I learned how to make cassava flour. I learned how to harvest oysters. These are all things that the people have done there traditionally, and they continue to do to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. These are things that they've done traditionally and continue to do to fund their life there. Um, oh, I had a dance class. Um, I was not very good at the dance. I could tell y'all that now. But the class was still fun. When we were at the Quilombo, we danced. I attempted to dance salsa, not salsa, samba with the little kids. I'm very bad at it, not good at all. Um, and oh, probably the highlight. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about, I want to go to Salvador, the highlight I think was the folklorico ballet. The show is only an hour, but it's like action packed, incredible dancers, incredible performance. It was so, so good. That was probably the highlight for me. There are some islands off the coast of Salvador. We went there on Sunday. Um, y'all know I don't really love the beach, so it was something to do. Uh, there are better beaches, but overall, I saw the stuff, I did the things. So yeah, that's how that went. Got back to Sao Paulo yesterday, checked out some museums today, did a little fabric shopping. Um, I probably I don't know, the way the man was acting, I don't think people come in there and spend as much money as I did. Uh, so I think I made their day, that they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's we're open for our first hour of the day, and look how much we've already sold." Um, okay, overall, has your trip lived up to your expectations or what you were promised in the itinerary? Yes, we did the things that were in the itinerary. Um, for me, I think somebody asked this last week, like, would I come back to Brazil? No, it's a one and done for me. Um, it's fine. It's just not a place there's not anything I'm being left like, "Oh, I wanna see that. I wanna know more. I wanna do more." And then if I'm real, and I think I noticed this a little more in Salvador, which is to be expected because the Black population is a bigger chunk of the population there. Because as we discussed last week, there are technically more Black people here in Sao Paulo than there are there. But I don't love the racial dynamics here. It very much is giving me a similar vibe that I got when I went to South Africa. But as far as like, did I get to see and do the things that I wanted to? Yes. Do you have a travel budget so you don't go over your monthly spending? Yes, but not, maybe not in the way that you're thinking. Um, I don't have an amount that this is what I am going to spend on a trip or on travel. But as y'all know, and maybe I'll remember to put a link to this video in the description. Um, I don't believe in budgeting. It doesn't work for me. I do like the anti-budget that I got from Paula Pant. And the basic idea of that is take the money that you need for the things that are important to you off the top, live off the rest. So off the top comes, or historically came, the money I was going to invest for retirement. uh I guess y'all might call these sinking funds. Travel was and is a big priority for me, so I have always set aside a certain amount of money every time I got paid for travel that went into one of my buckets in my ally account, so that when it is time to travel, the money I spend on travel comes out of that bucket. It's not part of my everyday expenses. So there is money being siphoned away for any kind of future travel yet to be determined, but I don't really say, okay, I'm gonna spend X amount. I don't really do that. So kind of a yes and. Um I wonder when somebody was gonna ask this. Could you live in any of the Brazilian cities you visited? No, no. And I'm laughing mostly because people I was traveling with they were like, "Oh, I really like it here," talking about Salvador. And all I kept thinking was, it's not walkable. Um, I'm not gonna say there's not mass transit because I did see what appeared to be a metro line. Um, but that didn't exist in the part of the city we were in, and we were fairly close to the historic center. Um, it's hilly. I don't like hills. Gave that up when I left Tegucigalpa, Honduras. And it probably gets really hot. Not a fan of that. But the way that I want to live my life, I can't really do there. Sao Paulo seems like on paper seems like the kind of place that would be more my speed. Like there is mass transit, it's a big city, all of these things. But the vibe, I just kept thinking, I keep trying to put my finger on what makes this place so much different than Mexico City. And I don't know, I guess it's the vibe. The vibe is so no. This is not the place for me. They also speak Portuguese, and that has been an adventure in and of itself. It pointed out to me that it's been a very long time. I say that I was going to say it's been a long time since I've traveled in a place where I don't speak the language. And that's not 100% true because I was in Italy in April and I don't speak any Italian. Uh, so, but I think what it points out is I don't give myself enough credit for the Spanish that I do speak because as I get frustrated here, it's things I can normally do in Spanish that now I can't do because everybody speaks Portuguese. um, like what has happened with Uber drivers, with people in restaurants, or what have you. I look like I could be Brazilian. So everybody's first thought is speak Portuguese to that lady. And then I'm like, huh? What? And they say it again. And then I know y'all told me how to say I don't speak Portuguese. I don't remember that. So I would just be like, no, no Portuguese. And then this is what gets funny. If it's in a restaurant, I typically get passed off to somebody else. But that person doesn't always speak anything other than Portuguese, which I think is so weird. Like you won't wait on me because you don't want to deal with me not speaking Portuguese, but this person doesn't speak any of the languages I speak either, but whatever. Or they will try and condense what they're trying to ask me down to like one word, but the way that they're pronouncing that one word, I can't understand. I'm trying to think of the last time this happened, uh, because I know it happened today. And then I'm like, huh? And then they yell the one word, and I still can't understand. It's it's been a mess. Although me and the man at the fabric store, we were working it out. Because again, the dude who talked to me when I first entered the fabric store, and I was trying to type on Google, and then he saw I had a shirt on today that was linen, and he was like, Lino. He pointed around, he was like, all of this is linen. And I was like, bet. And then I go and I start looking around. Another guy comes to me. That man don't speak nothing but Portuguese. But he spoke to me in Portuguese. The words that I could pick up, that sounded similar to the Spanish. We worked that out. Numbers, absolutely not. Took out my phone, gave him my calculator. So between that, he and I, we worked it all out. But the Portuguese language, that's a deal breaker for me because that is a big part of the reason that I can't and won't ever live in Lisbon. uh tell you about the menfolk, girl. I don't know what to tell you. They're here. Um, I mean, there were some nice looking ones, but I don't. I have nothing else to tell you about that. So I've got another day or so here. The plan is to hit up a different museum. Um, maybe get some ramen, and then I head back to Mexico City on Thursday. What are y'all's plans for Thursday? Um, I did get to thinking about, I have I have not had Thanksgiving, whether in the States or somewhere else, in probably like 9 years. Because one of my Facebook memories popped up, or Instagram memories popped up from 2016. So what is that, 9 years ago? Where I went to Roatan um, for Thanksgiving, and they, at the place I was staying, they tried their best to do like a traditional Thanksgiving, but yeah, I haven't done that. So, one of the things that we often talk about here on this channel is living abroad and what your life looks like. And I was thinking about like the holidays don't look the same for me as they used to before I moved abroad. Uh, I don't cook. So I don't feel compelled to like recreate Thanksgiving where I am, that sort of thing. I don't really cook like that. Um, and unless somebody is frying a turkey, Thanksgiving has never the I know a big part because I have issues with Thanksgiving because of its origin and that sort of thing. And I realize that for most Black Americans, that is not how we celebrate it. And I get that. But for a lot of Black Americans, a big part of Thanksgiving is those particular traditional dishes. And I don't eat the vast majority of them. So I feel like I've never had the same connection to Thanksgiving that other people have, other than like it's gonna be Christmas. Um, so I was curious, what are y'all planning to do? There are in Mexico City, there is somebody who is hosting a Friendsgiving. There are restaurants because there are a sizable number of foreigners, primarily from the US and Canada, that there are restaurants who are and hotels that are having specific Thanksgiving meals, that sort of thing. But like how I celebrate the holidays looks different now that I don't live in the States anymore. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Um, Okay, you're gonna be in Guatemala figuring out. I was gonna say figuring out a decent dinner on a good day is difficult in Guatemala, let alone Thanksgiving. But that's me. That's me. I should not be allowed to make comments about food. Bet, bet. um, yeah. Um, Okay, so most of y'all in the chat are like, not doing a traditional Thanksgiving. You know, I think this could be true for Thanksgiving, Christmas, uh, what are other holidays we have? Uh, whether it's Valentine's Day, I'm really struggling to think of holidays, Juneteenth, what have you, whatever the holidays are that you like to celebrate. Um, if you are living outside of your home country, you plan to, okay, Easter, thank you, forgot about that one. And you're thinking about like, what is that going to look like for me? Because when I talk to women who want to move out of the US, one of the things I always have them do is to really think through what they want their life to look like. And for some of us, there's certain holiday traditions, holiday magic that we want to have, but you maybe are wondering or thinking that you can't have that when you are outside the United States. And I don't think that's necessarily true. Now, while I have my issues with Thanksgiving, um, I still be celebrating other holidays, the ones that I watch. The ones that I don't like, I don't celebrate. And that's actually where we can start. If there are anything like, I don't want to say negative traditions because that sounds bad. But if for most of your life, y'all have had certain holiday traditions that really didn't work for you, you didn't love that sort of thing, living in another country is a great reason to ditch those things. Um, I know some people get a little lonely at the holidays because they're not with their family, and if that's where you find yourself or you think you might be, connect with other people who celebrate those same holidays. Like um, we've talked about this a lot about having community and that sort of thing. So if you want, like, I don't count this as a holiday, but we're going to use this as an example. Every year, it never fails in some of the foreigner Facebook groups. Somebody asks about celebrating Cinco de Mayo. Uh, I live in Mexico. Cinco de Mayo is not really a thing there. There is a parade in the state of Puebla, which is what Cinco de Mayo is supposed to be celebrating, the defeat of the French by the Mexican army, or the army is a strong word, by the Mexican forces in 1862, 1865. Don't give me the line, but it's the celebration of the Battle of Puebla. And there is always multiple people who are asking, like, well, is there anybody having a Cinco de Mayo party? Anybody doing anything? And so, whatever the holiday is, find those other people who want to celebrate it too. That way you don't have to be alone. You don't have to be, like outside of the festivities. Connect with those other people. I'm Black American. I 4th of July ain't really my jam, but Juneteenth is. And so I will often look to connect with other folks who are doing something for Juneteenth, commemorating that day in a way. So that's one thing you could do, is finding other people who do want to celebrate the same holiday that you're wanting to celebrate. Um, Something else you could do is, this, I guess this kind of falls under the creating new traditions umbrella, is what are the local holiday celebrations? Can you, I know often when we leave our home country, there's a lot of concern about, oh, what I'm missing out on, what I don't get to do anymore. Maybe we reframe that and think about, okay, I live in this new place. What are new holidays I get to add? Think, I I do this. Uh, the month of September shows up. My Mexican flag is up in our living room in the window so everybody can see it. Stays up all month. September 15th, September 16th. I'm doing something that is Mexican independence. Not something I celebrated when I was in the US necessarily, but as somebody who lives permanently in Mexico, I am embracing that, embracing Day of the Dead. This year was my first year putting up an ofrenda. I wanted to do it last year, but I wasn't in the right place for it. Did that. I see that's going to be a continuing thing. So, you know, maybe the country that you live in or the country that you're moving to has cool holidays that you can just add those to your repertoire. Um, you know, or you can just make brand new traditions. I started that 3 years ago. Yeah, this year will be the third one. Um, Christmas used to be Christmas time used to be my favorite time of the year. And then it got to the point that I didn't want to do anything at all. And so a few years ago, trying to like recapture that because I wanted, this sounds corny. I kind of wanted some of that Christmas magic again. But yeah, like there are no little kids in my house. I do not own, like at one point in my life, I think I had, was it 3 or 4 full-size Christmas trees that I had decorations for in addition to other stuff. And of course, when you move to another country with just 3 suitcases, you don't bring all of that. And I've kind of tried to divorce myself from a lot of commercialism. So I'm not going to go out and rebuy all of those decorations and that sort of thing. But I wanted to do something to bring Christmas to my home. So 2 years ago, I don't, I'm trying to do math in my head, and that's never a good idea. This year will be the third year. So I guess I started 2 years ago. I decided that I wanted like to get the homegirls to come over and hang out. And Christmas is always a good reason for that. So I've started hosting a Christmas movie marathon where we hang out all day in our comfy, cozy clothes, and we eat cookies and cakes and we drink wine. And that is a new holiday tradition. Maybe I'll come up with another new holiday tradition. I don't know, but that's what I got right now. And so you could do the same. You don't have to try to necessarily replicate the traditions you had previously. You can come up with new ones. So I look forward to seeing everybody's pictures of all uh what y'all are going to be doing. Family didn't want to do Kwanzaa. I don't live in the same state now. Do my own little rituals. Okay, let's see. So yeah, most of y'all in the chat here are like, not going to be a traditional holiday. Um, Now, somebody's cooking for me. I'm gonna show up and eat, but it definitely is not gonna be a thing that I do. All right. I saw another question here. What are your thoughts on colorism and the racial hierarchy in Brazil? Is it still alive in Brazil? Oh, hell yeah, it is. Hell yes, it is. Um, I'm not a fan, and I I don't like the way it feels like, because being here as a Black American is kind of, it's kind of weird because as somebody who grew up in a white supremacist system and very much understands the things, the structures that are keeping people oppressed and seeing them here, but also being someone here who has a bit of privilege, it's a weird thing. And I don't know if you weren't here earlier, but that is one of the reasons why, like, I don't need to come back to Brazil because I it, the racial dynamic here is not great. One of the things that I did ask one of the tour guides while I was in Salvador, because I believe, is it 82% of the population there is Afro descendant? I wanted to know if maybe because they make up the majority of the population there, that there might have been more access for Black folks to get into government, to get into positions of leadership, things like that. And the answer I got every time I asked a question was no. So, because, like, I think about a very Black state like Mississippi. And while Mississippi is not one of my favorite states, um, you're going to find, and it's not a great, I can't speak to how the quality of the state for Black folks, but uh, even in Mississippi, you find like successful Black entrepreneurs. There are Black state representatives, that kind of thing. And when they told me that no, they don't really have that, I just thought how this system is set up, because the official line is, oh, we're just all mixed and we're all together and we're all great. And the Black people I talked to were like, no, that is not the case. We are consistently denied opportunity because of the color of our skin. Uh, the attempts at some sort of affirmative action resulted in people who would not otherwise identify as Black doing so solely to take advantage of those programs. So yeah, not a fan at all. So yes, it is alive and well. And, I have reflected a little bit on how the similarities and dissimilarities with what I've seen in other Latin American countries, ones that were colonized by the Spanish, in Mexico, you know, uh, there is an Afro descendant population in Mexico, considerably smaller, but, and this is one thing that came up this whole week is it's the same story in every place that I have been, that we've all been. It's the same story um, of how Black folks are treated, how they are marginalized by the system. Um, that 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 part is the same. Um, to answer your question, I tried to get in touch with her. I tried to go to her shop. Her website is down. Couldn't get in contact with her at all. So, but I did try because you were right. I looked at her stuff and I was like, oh yeah, I could get with this. I could get with this. I saw somebody asked if I got to go to the upper and lower city in Salvador. I did. Um, Stayed primarily in the more central part of that area. Okay. Funny you mentioned this. I didn't expect colorism in Singapore. It exists in many places. When I went to Singapore, I went to visit a friend from grad school. We went to grad school in Oregon, of all places. So we're used to being the brown and Black folks where everybody else is not. And my friend was miserable with the way he was being treated there because of the assumptions they made about his ethnic background and how they treated him as a result of that. Um, like, I knew because of my experience being his friend that colorism was a thing there. Um, so I wasn't surprised, but yeah, it I definitely saw it while I was there. Somebody mentioned this to me, about it being considered a crime, and, you know, I kept thinking about the current situation in the US where, things that would have been illegal previously, to discriminate on the basis of race, in employment and stuff like that, which is starting to be undone. Um, so yeah, the world's a mess. And Brazil they got some of the same issues that we're seeing in other places as well. Um, so let's see, we talked about the holidays, we talked about in Brazil. Um, what else do y'all want to talk about? Or I will let y'all go because if you've got things that you need to prepare for your holiday festivities. I will say, oh, that's what it was. Somebody commented about me, okay, about trying um this. Uh, I believe this is the dish with beans. And y'all gotta remember, I don't eat beans. Remember, I don't eat a lot of things. So I knew being able to eat here was going to be difficult. Um, it has been difficult in ways I had not anticipated. Uh, uh, one, language. Um, because I would go into a place and there would be no pictures, it'd just be words, and things would be unrecognizable or being from being the picky eater that I am at 50 years old. I have learned, like, don't you see this, like, fried pie, don't make assumptions about what's inside that fried pie. It's probably gonna be something I don't like, onions, things like that. So I'm tried my best to avoid food that wasn't very visible, that I could easily see what was in it. That reduced a lot. The places that had no pictures, where it's just words, and so then I'm on my phone trying to transfer things. So I've been trying to keep uh what I could eat very, very simple. And that has worked out, but also not worked out. Like, part of the reason I didn't go live until, what was it, 8 p.m. Eastern, was because I was trying to order some fried chicken from a place down the street, but supposedly they have two food apps here, one called iFood and the other is Rappi. I use Rappi in Mexico, already have an account, bet. I ordered the fried chicken from on Rappi, and it was supposed to get here because I when I should have gone live, it would have been 9 p.m. here. And the food should have gotten here. I ordered it at 7:30. It should have gotten here by 8, a little after 8. The time for the delivery kept moving, kept moving, kept moving, till finally they were like 9:30. And so eventually I canceled that. I struggled the other day to get something to eat. It's part of this is my own fault. I don't want anybody to think they got to feel sorry for me, because a lot of this is my own fault, being the picky eater I am, and uh, a lot of a lot of the things that I want to eat or will eat, it's just been a struggle. Um, so there's been a lot of times this week where Figuring out food on my own, I was like, it's not worth it. I'll eat tomorrow. I'm not even gonna bother about dinner. Uh, so that's been fun. But I've had plenty of gelato, so I'm not gonna waste away anytime soon. Um, what else is there to tell y'all? Um, I did I was trying to debate if I want to show y'all the fabric that I bought. Delivery, I spent so many hours yesterday trying to sort out delivery because I was like, "Oh, I'll download iFood. I'll just make an account." Because like I've done that in other countries, but they wanted me to have like a Brazilian phone number. Technically, I do have one, but I don't know what it is. Or you need the little, what is it, CFP, CFE, the little ID number. That's another difference that I notice about Brazil versus Mexico. Brazil seems to like do things, there seem to be rules for things that in Mexico, everybody's like, MBD, no big deal. Um, we don't need to follow a specific procedure. So I spent hours trying to figure out what I could eat, and I do mean hours, what I could eat, what was close by, because I didn't want to go outside. And ultimately, I was like, fine, I will go outside. There's a place, catty corner here, and there was an OXXO next door, so I could get some water from the OXXO. Um, and then I get across the street, that place is closed. So I got water at the OXXO and was like, okay, well, I'm outside now. I gotta find something to eat, something simple to eat that won't require a lot of thought. Um, and trying to navigate, because one of the things the tour guy kept saying is like, don't be outside on your phone, don't be outside on your phone, they will take your phone. So I'm trying to like navigate. It's getting dark. I'm trying also not to be on my phone. It was a whole thing. um I did end up getting some good hot chocolate last night, kind of by accident. um it was, I'm not gonna call it Mexican hot chocolate because I don't think it was, but I think it was Mexicanized, like they added some cinnamon and stuff like that. But it was delicious. Okay, now that I think about it, the fabric may not show up. This is, I told y'all this last week that I specifically was going to a place that sold linen. There are a ton of other fabric stores, but that's what I was looking for because this right here is 100% linen. And it is, I feel like it's a heavier weight. This is going to be a pair of pants. In this part of my life, I am not big on wearing hard pants, but I in my head, I envision a pair of like easy pants, but not stretchy pants. Does that make any sense? Like, I want the elegance of a slack, but I want something comfortable. So maybe the back of the waistband will be elasticized, but the front won't be, kind of somewhere in the middle. Okay, so that was 100%. These other ones are all linen, cotton, uh, what do you call it? No, this is black. This is black. I wanted a pair of black linen pants. And when I looked for linen in Mexico City, it was a little lighter. I liked the weight of that. Hopefully, after I wash it, it will still hang that way. This is a cotton linen blend. I think it is like 65% linen, and then whatever the rest of that is at 35% cotton. This will probably be a top of some sort. Um, this, I don't know if y'all can tell, it's a tan. but it's got a little like black or gray in it. These will also be a pair of pants, but this is a little less stiff than the black because it's a linen cotton blend. The place I went, they have 100% linen, they have linen cotton, they also have linen viscose. I didn't want any viscose, so I skipped that. And then this it looks navy here, but it is black. This is a lighter weight cotton linen blend that will also I envision this being a long sleeve button up. This will be some kind of short sleeve top is what I'm envisioning. Um, and I think total I got 11.5 meters of fabric, because I do not have a checked bag. So I had to exhibit some self-control. Let's see. Yeah, the black is 62% linen, 38% cotton, and then the tan is 55% linen, 45% cotton. Okay, so that's what I bought. All right. Unless y'all got any other question, I don't really have anything to talk about. I just had random things I wanted to share with y'all. And so next Tuesday, uh we'll be back to something a bit more structured, a bit more organized. But I just wasn't in a structure or organized frame of mind today, probably because I was hungry. Um, but I have since eaten, and things are looking up for tomorrow. Let's see. Anybody else? Okay. All right. So y'all have a good evening. Um, be kind to yourself. If any part of the festivities taking place this week don't feel good to you, don't participate. Excuse yourself, take care of yourself first. And remember that we are messing with white folks' money, white men's money specifically. And you know, don't I'm reminding you not to, take off Friday. Don't spend any money Friday. Don't spend any money till sometime next month. All right. Y'all take care, and I will see y'all again next